Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are doing another build update for the van and it's super exciting and I want to share all of it with you, but I have to do like my own little intro because obviously in real time I did not know how I was splitting up these videos, and so while there are some talking clips in it, there's nothing that really brings it all together or gives you guys almost any information about what was happening, because in real time I had injured my shoulder while we were doing the build and we were really struggling between the time limits at each campsite that we were at, on top of being close to town, getting materials, I'm being injured, and then now in real time my boyfriend is injured, all from very stupid little accidents that have happened over the time that have had actually nothing to do with the van build, unfortunately. But we were really trying to push to get the van livable as fast as possible because we have to separate, and I've talked about that we won't be traveling together then for a while, so we were just trying to get to the van to the point of livability, and then the decorating and things obviously will come over the summer as I have more time. But between now both of our injuries, the van build itself has come to a halt, and honestly the stopping point isn't bad at all, but I feel like I should give everybody a heads up now that I've had some new eyes on my channel that this isn't going to be like aesthetic Instagram van life. This is going to be very functional van life, which I think is really approachable for a lot of people. So anyways, in this video specifically, we are working on the insulation and the subfloor, the ceiling, and the wall coverings. Good morning. Oh God, I got so sunburned yesterday. So we are waiting on weather. It's like super clear skies, as you can see, but it is supposed to start to kind of like get rainy. So we're actually gonna get going on the inside and to get out of the sun and the wind for a little bit today. And we're gonna do all the rest of the cleaning in here and start the floor, which is super exciting. So I will show you guys that. I went with 2-inch foam boards. With the foam board, all it takes is a couple cuts and we can slide it into place, and that is why I chose it. Also, it has a really high R value for what it is and how easy it is, and so I wanted to have this van insulated really well for the dog and for my comfort. Now, I haven't really had to use it in the heat too much yet, but I did just spend a 35-degree-ish night in here last night, and we stayed at a nice and toasty 55 in the van without any heater in here. So I think we actually did a pretty good job insulating. We did 2-inch foam on the floor and on the ceiling and on the walls, obviously everywhere except for the windows and the doors, and I'll tell you what we did for that in a later video. I wanted to keep my windows because I wanted to be able to see outside. I like the panoramic views. You guys saw the trailer. I like to have my great views, especially when I am living full-time and needing to work inside. Sometimes when the weather is bad, I like to be able to see outside and not feel super trapped in my rig. On this floor, we obviously just cut out the floor. There's no like how-to or tutorial really to do this. You just measure and cut and lay it down, and that's all we did. We did not glue the floor down. We didn't do anything like that. We cut was 2 pieces of plywood that turned into 3 pieces that we kind of puzzled together of plywood to go onto the floor. This was just standard plywood from Lowe's. Again, we just went with something super simple and easy because I know the flooring that I'm putting on top of it, and it doesn't need to look pretty or anything like that. It is painted white, not for aesthetic purposes, but because that is what we used as our test piece to practice using the sprayer for the outside of the van. For the walls, I wanted to keep, obviously, like I said, as much space in the van, but I also didn't want to have to fight with the curve of the van. So we did do flat walls. So we put in little furring strips kind of framing to be able to slide the 2-inch insulation into those, as well as all the extra pieces of insulation we had. We put them into small little pieces and shoved them into that dead space in the wall. But we put like feet and feet and feet of extra insulation that we crumbled up and put into the walls and filled the walls a lot. I think at the end of the day, it was better than just throwing all those foam pieces away. I don't know what kind of difference it made. I feel like it has probably made a difference, but that would be up to you to decide if you wanted to do it. We just had scrap and we didn't want to be driving back and forth to town just to be throwing away little pieces of foam here and there. So we used all of our extra foam from the cutouts of the ceiling in the floor and just shoved it into the walls. We didn't glue the foam to the wall or anything. We just cut it so it was shoved super tight between that wooden frame that we made. We also did furring strips on the ceiling to help the foam have something to grip to, as well as the thing that we're going to use for the ceiling. So those pieces, again, we just measured, cut out the foam piece and shoved it up there. There wasn't really any rhyme or reason to it. It was a really quick process, but that's why we picked foam board. And so then we move on to the wall and ceiling material. And I didn't want to have to finish any wood in this build. I didn't want to have to paint in here. I didn't want to have to stain or anything like that. So to get this plastic sheeting to use as the walls and the ceiling. This is waterproof material. It's plastic material. It's super easy to clean, either with like a rag or even like a magic eraser or something. And it's already white. We didn't have to want to use a bunch of wood or even anything to make like these crazy cuts. We could just, with the plastic, just wrap it up. This plastic is maybe not the most aesthetic to use, especially because we had to screw it in and you can obviously see the screws, whereas wood is maybe a little bit more aesthetic, a little bit more warm feeling. And I just wanted things to be easy, to be functional. And honestly, most of the wall is covered anyways by stuff now. It's either, you know, my bed, or I have a fridge back there, I have storage. Really not seeing like the wall all that much. In the ceiling then, again, it's just a plain white ceiling and I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to refinish it. It's super lightweight, and that's why I chose it. In the van, pee-pee in the van. It's a pee-pee in the van. Ooh, it's looking so nice. It's looking so nice. Ooh. Been working out great so far, and it's super easy to clean. It's pee-pee in the van from the other side. Okay, 3D. Just tucked it into the existing headliner for the cab. This isn't the cleanest look. Again, I'm gonna maybe go back through and trim everything out, and maybe not. I'm not sure if it's really worth it at this point. It doesn't really bother me, but I know people who want things like super clean and aesthetic. I know it might bother you, but again, with me, you guys have seen my builds. I duct tape floors for, you know, 2 years of my life. It doesn't really bother me at all. I actually did think about putting duct tape like trim around everything just to, you know, give you guys a little flair, but I'm not sure if I'll do that just yet, just because with both injuries and traveling, we've just kind of been resting now at this point. Here is what the floor looks like completely finished. We obviously had to finish these edges to make sure that the foam wasn't exposed, and you guys are getting more of a look of the ceiling and the walls. Those are the seams I was talking about, and we've waterproof taped all the seams in the subfloor, and this is where we cut out the step. I actually just kept the original step, and then we just again framed it out, and this is actually how we adhered it to the frame of the van, or like the floor of the van. But yeah, you guys will see what I do for the floor then coming up, and the bed will be next, and then I'll give you like a little mini tour of how it looks now. So everything came together super nice, I think, and it looks really good. It's been super functional long term now. Footage now from almost 2 months ago at this point. So it's been working out really well on the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the insulating and the subfloor and the walls and the ceiling. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Unbothered queen.